Well, we got some bait, buddy, so
Yeah.
hopefully these fish will cooperate with us
Beautiful
today.
bait. See if they're hungry.
We're fishing today with Captain Jason Semeyn. We're here in beautiful Charlotte Harbor, Florida. We're going to be testing out some new O'Hero products. Our targets are trout, redfish, snook, anything else that'll bite. We're expecting a good day. Come on, go with us.
There's a pretty fish that's right in the corner.
Oh, I know he's got it. 100 feet of fly line out. There we go. There's two. He turned, he came back. We can see him come up. And the shrimp.
There he is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I picked it up and it started really going. It started on one side, came all the way around to the other side of the boat. And you go from the bottom side up. Ah, nice.
Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Mercury Marine, #1 on the water.
Tide's coming in, isn't it, Jason?
Yeah, I come in. I think high tide's at like 12:30, so
Yeah.
we still got a little bit of time before we can get way back there. But we can run through all this. It's just knowing where to put down. That's the key down here. Everybody's got a boat that can run through here.
Jason, how you gonna hook these baits?
Yeah, so this morning we're gonna hook them right through the nose here.
Okay.
Right in front of the eye, behind the nose, there's a soft spot through
Okay.
that cartilage.
All right.
And it's almost gonna pop in place.
Okay. That'll let him swim good?
Yeah, that'll let them swim.
Okay.
Then later in the day when we get to some deeper waters, we're gonna hook them in the back.
All
I'll
right.
show you that.
And I'm using some 30-pound O'Hero fluorocarbon and a 2/0 Trident hook, 10-pound high-vis adrenaline. The reason I like high-vis, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. It helps me see the line, helps me tie the line, but what it really does for me, kind of going along with helping me see the line, I can tell when I get a bite by the way that line moves. And that's real important to getting these fish on, is knowing that you got one on.
There's a hole you could see kind of out here, this sand, and it wraps up to that island.
see
So
it.
we'll fish, start here, and then work our way up. I don't ever want to put the boat there first, because a lot of times, especially down here, these fish sit off.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like to be up in the trees like they do up in Tampa or whatever.
I see some mullet in there, Jason. Is that normally a good sign?
Yeah, always. You don't ever want to fish if you don't see mullet jumping. Mullet, birds in the trees like up there, that's all signs that there's life around this area, and you're at least in the right ballpark.
There is something. A little snook.
Snook.
Yeah, that acting like
Get
a
around
snook.
you here.
Oh, stay on here, baby. That was like instantaneous, Jason. You and I both threw in the
We
same
both hit
spot.
the same spot. We had the same thought.
We both saw the same
Yeah,
fish laying in there.
Same fish.
Well, I'm keeping this fella out of the mangroves. I don't think he's got enough beef to get me in the mangroves. But it's a very nice fish. Very nice snook. Any snook is good snook. That's the way I look at it. Oh, we let it go and I can still see him right there. Darn it. I had already counted that fish. I mean, I was thinking about how I was going to pull him up and show him to you. But he's gone. I'm going to have to catch another one. These are big enough baits today. You can use a big hook.
These are good baits. Same thing with the leader too. I always try to find the smallest possible leader I can use.
Yeah. He's on. Oh, let's see what that is. That was another little snook. That's two snook. That was a little bit smaller. I'm not sure he could quite get hold of my bait, but that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I fished 2 different spots on that shoreline, hooked 2 different snooks, so there must be some in there. See, it got double hooked right there. That is not that's probably the reason why I lost him. The point of that hook and the bend could not get inside his mouth. I'm gonna try working that out, see if that bait's any good. If I don't do any good to the next cast, I'm gonna switch baits. That's usually not a good idea, but I'm gonna try it anyway. It's swimming good. See if he's still there and hungry. On that last snook that I hooked, I felt the bite, but then using this high vis line, I could see the bite. I could see the line kind of waving in the wind. All of a sudden it went taut, and I could feel the pressure and I could see it start to move. If you've got a line that you can't see, sometimes that's hard. I wanted to give that fish plenty of time to take the bait and get it in its mouth, and this high vis line, really good for that. Camo line, hard for me to see. I don't think it makes any difference in the color of the line where the fish bite or not, as long as you got good fluorocarbon leader.
Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Oh Hero, conquering the fishing world. Get ready for the best leader on the market. Oh Hero fluorocarbon, virtually invisible in water with incredible knot strength and abrasion resistance. Trident hooks, our most versatile live bait hook. Its ultra-sharp needle point makes for a perfect jaw hook set. Oh Hero fishing products for serious anglers who demand excellence from their fishing tackle. Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Brought to you by Oh Hero, conquering the fishing world. Salt Life Sports Optic. Mirrolure, turn on the bite. DOA, the unfair advantage. And Bimini Bay Outfitters.
Sometimes, especially when you're fishing in wind, you're going to get a big loop on your spool with a braided line just like that. The natural tendency is to open the bail and start pulling off line, but when you do, the line coming off the spool just wraps around your loop, and it just causes a major catastrophe and tangle. Here's the way to get it undone. Loosen your drag almost all the way, and then start pulling line just like this. Let it roll right off your spool, just like fish is pulling line. There it is. I hit the loop and it's pulling the loop right out. My loop is all gone now. There's tight line on that spool. I have no tangle. Tighten the spool back up, tighten the drag back up, and then reel up all that loose line. So easy, but yet a bit counterintuitive that it works every single time. Don't open your bail, loosen your drag.
Perfect. Oh, there you go.
Right on him. That's a
red
snook.
fish?
Maybe a red. Yeah, he did. He hit it right away.
Hadn't come up yet?
Hadn't jumped, so it must be a red. That's a big old red.
Yeah, nice red fish.
Yeah, good red fish. We'll get a look at him, see if we can show him to the world.
That's gonna be a nice gold one with this water.
Stay hooked. Mm-hmm. These redfish are really, I call them bulldogs because they're big, wide head, wide-shouldered fish. And when they decide to start digging, and they do, they seem like they get right by the boat and just start digging for the bottom. They'll go right in the grass. They'll just bury themselves in the grass where you can't even see them. They're tough. They're tough fighters. Now that one's in the slot. That's a slot-sized fish, and he's sort of fat. If we wanted to fish dinner tonight, we could take that one home. It is in the legal Florida size, the slot limit. There's a size limit of redfish and that you can keep, and that's in that slot limit. Those are pretty fish. If you look at it just right, you can see a champagne color when the sun hits it right. I can see it up around his head, behind his eyes, and on the fins. I'm using a loop knot to tie onto the hook, and the reason is I want that hook to be able to move around and not be pulling this line around like that. I want the bait to swim freely, and it will help the natural presentation of that bait. And there's a lot of different loop knots out there. This is the Homer Road loop knot that I like, but there's lots of them. And they're readily available on YouTube or in books. But a loop knot will let your bait swim a little more natural, and it may get you some more bites. I'm gonna check my leader. With this fluorocarbon leader, it will get some little nicks, and I can see these nicks. Fluorocarbon is crystal clear under the water, but when you start getting the nicks on it, the little nicks will stand out and catch the sunlight, and you can see it. Not only that, it weakens the leader. Even though I'm using 30-pound fluoro, I'm gonna cut back about that much and retie, just so there's no accidents or they can make sure, I want to make sure they see the bait. I'm going to tie on about 3 feet of this fluorocarbon. I'm going to pull it out, and I know from my breastbone out to my arm is about 3 feet. And then I'm going to clip it off. This Ohiro leader spool has a really neat piece of Velcro on it that can come on and off, but you just tighten it down like that and it'll pull, you can pull your leader line out and it won't jump off the spool or get tangled or anything else like that. And then when the spool's empty, you can use that piece of Velcro for something else. So I've got about 3 feet. Now I'm going to tie the no-name knot or the Yucatan knot or the Bristol knot. There's a lot of different names for it, but the no-name knot is a popular name. And I'm going to leave out about 3 or 4 inches of mono. I'm going to place it right at the knot of the double line. I'm going to place it right over the double line, just like that. I'm not through it, I'm over the top of it. Then I'm going to slide my fingers down to the very end, leaving a little bit of the knot exposed right there. Now the reason I slid it down like that is I tightened both strands of the knot. I want it to be tight. I don't want one strand to be a different length than the other. With this tag end of the mono, and I'm using 30, I'm going to wrap it back 6 times around the double line. Starting like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're using 20 pound, you probably want to go about 8 times. Now I've got 6 times around the double line, then I'm going right back through my loop that I left on the end of the double line, just like that. Now see, I'm back through that loop. Now I'm going to grab my tag in. I'm going to start to tighten this down. Can you see the knot starting to form right there? And there it is. It's starting to form, it's going to pull down, it's going to cinch down on top of each other. It's 30 sometimes a little brittle, so I'm going to pinch it a little bit to squeeze it down, like that. And then I'm going to moisten it. And then I'm going to start to pull it down tight. And when you get ready to pull it, you want to pull it. There it is. I'm pulling tight as I can. Look at that knot. That's a beautiful, smooth knot. I'm going to cut that tag end off, and that thing will fly through your guides. I'm going to cut that tag end off pretty tight. I don't want any little piece that could hang up on the guides. Look at that knot. That is a smooth looking knot. Actually, I could trim that tag end down a little more. And then I'll come down to this end and I'll tie my hook on.
Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Ohiro, conquering the fishing world. Get ready for the best leader on the market. Ohiro fluorocarbon, virtually invisible in water with incredible knot strength and abrasion resistance. Trident hooks, our most versatile live bait hook. Its ultra-sharp needle point makes for a perfect jaw hook set. Ohiro fishing products for serious anglers who demand excellence from their fishing tackle. Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Brought to you by Ohiro, conquering the fishing world. Salt Life Sports Optic. Mirror Lure, turn on the bite. And DOA, the unfair advantage.
Here he is, I got him.
Yeah.
Oh! You got him. Atta boy.
Oh!
We got a bunch of fish right there.
Did you just lose the hook?
Yeah, no, my bait's off, but that fish was eating my bait.
Yep. Oh, little guy.
Good snook, Jason. That's what we're saying.
We'll get this little guy. There's a little guy.
I got a feeling there's some in there because I lost one and you got one. Okay, I'm excited.
No, he's got to give him a kiss.
Right about there. I had a bite and my fish jumped off, knocked my bait off. Jason caught one, and when my bait flew off the hook, they were blasting it in there. That's a good sign. Yeah, after the bait right there. It's a redfish. He's after my bait. What
Yeah, he's after your bait.
I'm reeling it in. It's a redfish after my bait. I know where that redfish living though.
Yeah, right in that grass right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, we got
bam,
it.
there he is.
He's on. He just scarfed that baby up right then. Come on, baby, let's stay on now. That's a snook.
Oh, the snook.
Yeah, that's a snook there. That was a red though, chasing it before.
Sure was.
There it is. I'll just go down there and lift him up. You catch one, Jason. If I can get this snook upside down like that, it usually don't go anywhere when you hold them upside down. It just kind of puts them to sleep. I'll gently take that circle hook out. All right, I'm gonna give it my rocket release, and that is I'm just gonna toss him head first. Off he goes. All right. All right, Jason, we're in them now, buddy. Get him, man, I see it. Attaboy, Jay. Attaboy, Jay. Snook. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm going right back there where you were.
A little bigger.
Another snook. Future trophy.
Yeah.
We like those.
Give it a few more. I'm getting a little bigger. Perfect hook set. A good trident hook. Awesome. Awesome.
I got bumped right there. I'm on. I'm on with that snook.
There we go.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, that's right in that same place,
Same
Jason.
spot.
Right on that horseshoe or that
Sitting
point.
right there in that sand.
That left point of that horseshoe and the horseshoe. So somewhere in there, they're cruising around. And they made a good recovery from the big freeze. But we still need to be real careful with them. Jason, you got one.
Yeah, this one's nicer.
Sweet.
This one's nicer.
This is the spot. You're right about that.
Can't resist this white bait this time of year back here. Ah, nicer fish.
Right, you got it right in that same area?
Same spot. Yeah, I'm gonna release this one. You still got that fish on?
Yeah, well, you release that one and I'll bring this one
All right,
in.
bring that one right on over. We'll let this one go. A little bit.
Oh yeah. We got these snook going now.
Bring it over here like an assembly line.
We were taking a still shot of Jason and I, and I'm holding the rod out, tried to keep it out of the still photo, and I got a fish on the end of it.
There it is.
Yes, sir. We got them going on now, man.
All different sizes today.
We got them going on.
Let's keep it going.
Jason, that big one of yours was in the slot, wasn't it?
It was close.
Yeah,
it was
it
close.
sure was. I can see that yellow line real good. Yes, sir. Can we get two?
That was another good one.
You got the big man touch today, Jason.
Yeah. Another nice one. Maybe an inch or two from the slot. Yeah.
Yeah. Way to go, Jason.
These are great.
A little snook.
There's another one out there. You need a fork and knife with these big baits.
Yeah, jump up.
There you go, you need a hand?
Pretty thing.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Now what I had to do, we're fishing with big baits, and I had to, when I felt that thump on that braided line that you feel so distinctly, I opened the bail of this spinning reel, just like that, and I gave him that line. I just let him have it. And you know, I counted a few seconds, and then I closed the bail, and he was on it. This bigger fish, smaller fish like that, using big baits, this is what you got to do. And he was hooked right in the corner of the mouth like he should be. Let's see that future trophy there, Jason.
Yeah.
Good sunlight on it.
Hungry little snook to eat those baits.
Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Oh Hero, conquering the fishing world. Get ready for the best leader on the market. Oh Hero Fluorocarbon, virtually invisible in water with incredible knot strength and abrasion resistance. Trident Hooks, our most versatile live bait hook. Its ultra-sharp needle point makes for a perfect jaw hook set. Oh Hero fishing products for serious anglers who demand excellence from their fishing tackle. Fishing with Bill Miller, presented by Mercury Marine. Brought to you by Oh Hero, conquering the fishing world. Salt Life Sports Optic. Miro Lure, turn on the bite.